Schumpeter's second law, known as Mark II. Group name Rainbow Sharks Unicorn. Team members Amanda Mendieta, Johnny Nguyen, and Imran Majid. This is a project for MIS 4478, also known as Admin, with Professor Carl Scott. Joseph Alois Schumpeter, born February 8, 1883 in Czech Moravia, which is now present-day Czech Republic. He passed away at the age of 66 in his house in Taconic, Connecticut on January 8, 1950. Schumpeter is known for being a Austrian-American economist, a political scientist, and a teacher. He is the only child. His father's profession was a textile manufacturer. His father passed away when Schumpeter was only 4 years old. After his father's death, his mother had remarried to a high-ranking officer in the Austro-Hungarian army. Schumpeter himself had been remarried a few times. He had a total of 3 wives. A little about his education now. He attended the University of Vienna, where he got his doctorate degree in 1906. He taught economics at various different institutions such as the University of Vienna, the University of Gernowitz, the University of Graz, and the University of Bonn. Finally, when he moved to the United States in 1932, he obtained a faculty position at Harvard. He became a U.S. citizen in 1939. He had political conservative ideas, therefore the FBI had him investigated in suspicions he was linked to the Nazis. But no evidence was found, therefore all allegations were dropped. Schumpeter's Law, Mark II. Before Mark II, he had his first law, which is Mark I. In this law, he states that the individual entrepreneurs primarily need to focus on the ability to innovate. Next, he came out with his second law, known as Mark II. In this, he states large firms with some degree of monopoly power are more likely to innovate. Large companies are more likely to innovate because they have a higher number of resources and more capital. Capitalist firms who want to stay competitive, they have to have new machinery and have to spend more time in research and development. Firms that spend more time in these two categories are likely to be more successful. Schumpeter adopted Marxist theory and based his theory off of those. Marx has suggested that capitalist firms need to stay competitive, and they could by increasing productivity and by building new and efficient machinery. Firms who had better, faster, and more efficient technologies saw an improved competitive position, and those who did not eventually were taken out of business. As Schumpeter got older, his approach changed. He focused more on cost cutting and introduction of machinery into product innovation and organizational innovation. Some examples of Schumpeter's second law would be Microsoft Windows operating system and Apple's products such as the iPod, the iPhone, and the iPad, and in the automobile industry, Audi's Connect. These companies are good examples because they are firms with some degree of monopoly power that are looking to innovate. An example of Schumpeter's second law would be for Microsoft. Everyone knows of Microsoft, and Microsoft is a good example because they are a large firm which has monopoly power and they have always been looking to be innovative. They are primarily famous for their Windows operating system. Microsoft was able to live up to Schumpeter's second law because it is a large firm with capital and has enough resources for research and development. Microsoft is a large monopoly power, so it is able to innovate easily. Microsoft Windows was easily able to innovate because they have many different operating systems. They started out with Microsoft Windows, Microsoft NT, Microsoft 98, 2000, eventually became Vista. After Vista was Microsoft 7, and lastly they are working with Windows 8. Windows 8 is a great operating system. It is good for both types of customers. The people who are on the go, they can use it for their tablets, and people who like to stay at home for desktop use and laptop use. It's great because both of those can be interlinked, and they're trying to capture both markets and they're staying ahead of the curve. The next example of Schumpeter's law would be for Apple. Apple is one of the top companies for innovation. They spend a lot of time and effort into their research and development and specifically into their marketing departments. And they are able to create the newest and best products which allow them to be innovative and always ahead of the curve. Apple's first big game changer product was the iPod. This was a device which allowed you to store a large number of music files for MP3 devices. There was no other device out at this time which allowed you to store that many songs for 8 gigabytes, 16 gigabytes. There's very numerous different sizes you could get. Later, they developed the iPhone, which was the first phone which allowed you to surf the web, listen to music, and text all on one device. Later, they developed something called the iPad. This was the first tablet that came out. The iPad is very similar to the iPhone. It's just on a larger scale. It's better for people who are on the go. You could download your books onto that as well. And this was great because Apple is very innovative. Many other firms tried mimicking what Apple was doing, but no one could do it as successful as Apple was. Apple stayed ahead of the curve and did enough research to see how they were to see what the consumers wanted, and Apple was becoming successful that no one else could match. My last example is on an audio system called the Audi Connect. Now we can notice how different industries such as the automobile industries are becoming more technologically innovative. Audi, which is a German car manufacturing company, has developed something called the Audi Connect system. This product allows your vehicle to become into a Wi-Fi hotspot. It allows passengers to retrieve information on the internet conveniently and on a secure network. You are able to use 8 wireless devices all at once on Audi's Wi-Fi network. Audi has joined with Google Earth and became the first car company worldwide to integrate Google Earth Maps into their navigation system. This allows you to see high-resolution 3D terrain and aerial images of your routes wherever you travel. The onboard navigation combines 3D terrain models with a detailed street network and calculates routes seamlessly. Also, with your Audi Connect system, you can access weather, news, gas prices, and more for your current location or destination. The most coolest feature about this is that you can reference to Wikipedia for tourist attractions and different landmarks, and get other valuable up-to-date travel information. To conclude Schumpeter's Law Mark II, large firms have more resources and more capital, so they are able to change the market and create new innovative products, such as the examples discussed through this presentation. Apple has the iPod, the iPhone, and the iPad. Microsoft has the Windows operating system, and Audi has something called the Audi Connect. In conclusion, large firms have a lower threat in entering into the market, and their resources allow them to produce on a much larger scale. Therefore, they are able to make a large amount of profits, which allow them to become a monopoly in their specific industry of work. And these are the list of sources we use for our project. Thank you.